Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Power Training. I'm Rebecca, and I love to interview interesting people. I have one today that I'm going to interview who's a pet psychic. But if you go to my website, rebeccatripp.com, you can see the different things that I offer. I wrote a book that came out a few years ago, Secrets of a Metaphysical Flight Attendant. And I have a course called the Mega Manifestation Method that you might want to take a look at. I also do one-on-one coaching. I'm an intuitive coach who likes to help people get to the next level, find the better version of themselves, get unblocked. So you might want to check that out. But I met Dulsa a while ago, and she's very interesting because I have had a lot of contact with different people that know how to communicate with their pets. I wouldn't say a lot, but they're out there. There are people that are intuitive enough to understand that we can make that connection. And many times our pets want to tell us something that's bothering them, and she's very good at helping the owners of these pets figure out exactly what it is. Or even if the pet has transitioned, you can still communicate. So she's going to tell us some of her stories of experiences that she's had working with clients. And first, I'll ask her to give a little background on how she became a pet psychic. So welcome, Dulsa.
Oh, thank you so much for Rebecca. And Rebecca, thank you again for opening your heart to allowing me to share this with your community. So how did it all start? Well, as a kid, and I know many of you have had this experience as a child, you just knew what those animals around you were saying. Same thing for me. I grew up with a ton of different types of animals, birds, dogs, cats, horses, you name it, even a snake. And the whole transition of going from childhood into the young teenage years was very traumatic for me, because right at that point where I was just like, I don't need to hang out with you. I'm going to go home and hang out with my dog or my cat. I was actually told, you're crazy. You can't talk to animals. That's crazy. And my parents actually started believing that, and that there was something wrong with me. So over the course of time, teenage years into adult years, it just got it got suppressed, just got squashed. And that happens, and that's natural. Sad to say. But in reality, talking with animals, talking with nature is telepathically is a natural thing, because we're all born with this. We're all born intuitive. We're all born telepathic. And then, of course, that includes our animals and Mother Nature. The earth is telepathic. But what happens is we are bred, or we're trained to use verbal language. So what happens, the telepathic universal language just gets dampened down and totally forgotten. But many of us now, and this is my story, I had a life situation where, again, all during my life, I've always had cats and dogs. In the past 30 years, cats abundant in my life. I've had a gazillion different cats. And in one particular case, back, let's see, 22 years ago, one of our cats named Fulligan was diagnosed with a feline hyperthyroidism, and I was his caretaker. I knew that his main person, because animals attract and have one human that they're totally with. I was not that person, but my partner, my guy, he was, but he could not handle taking care of Fulligan. It was too emotional for him. He got upset every time he had to give the medication. I was like, don't worry, I'll do it. I'm going to love doing this, because I want to make him feel better. Long story short, he wasn't getting any better, and I didn't know what to do. And somebody said at the pet store, of all places, because I hung out there so much, they said, have you considered getting an animal communication session and or a Reiki session? I was like, oh my God, you're right. And I was like, well, what's Reiki? I know animal communication, but it was like lightning. It was like sparks just went off. Energy, you feel the goosebumps. That's what happened. So we did. And during that session, not only was I just totally chilled and relaxed, I heard Fulligan. And up until that point of caring for him and living with him, he was already 8 years old. I was like, hey, hi, Fulligan, how you doing? No, that moment was, oh my God, Fulligan, thank you. Thank you. I hear you. And he told me what his wishes were. He told me, you know what? You all are going to choose euthanasia. And I was like, okay, but don't tell Scott. He won't be able to handle it at the time. I was like, of course not. Because I mean, I know my guy. Anyway, that was one aspect. But the other aspect was just, it just opened up my heart. And I was so calm and it was so natural. That's the point. When we're at a calm state, we stop thinking, we stop using our brain just for a couple of minutes and be connected to the animal. You will hear and understand. And that's what happened. And he said to me, he said, you need to expand your abilities because they've been dormant too long. I said, yes, I know. And I can't thank you. And that relationship with him, it's still ongoing. I talk to him every day. He gives me points every day. He tells me, yeah, do that video. So
well, that's a beautiful story. And it makes total sense to me because having trained a few thousand people in the Silva method of getting down to the alpha level, part of that training is how to go inside a pet or an animal and see what is happening in their bodies, like remote viewing, and listen to what it is and then giving them the healing energy. And I'm sure you're able to do that too.
And in fact, what I do is in my animal communication / Reiki session, because you all can choose whichever you prefer, but I always do a body scan with the animal. Now, that's not the first thing I do because they're like, oh, who are you again? Why are you doing that again? I get to know them. I get to find out what they want their human to know, what they like, what they're enjoying, what they're not really liking too much, but they need to change relevant to what their human is either providing for them or not providing for them, or how their energy is with not just with their animal, but general in life. Are they totally stressed? Because that's huge.
Well, it's fascinating to me too when you see these dogs, especially that are learning how to do CPR, that can do these amazing things to save their masters or children. It seems like they have a pretty good level of intelligence operating in their minds. And I mean, some have said they are more intuitive, I think, than most humans, don't you?
Animals in general, yes. And dogs, yes. Horses, birds, cats, dogs. I've seen it all. I've received so many different life-changing messages for their specific human. And what's really powerful is that there have been situations with my clients where they got an alert from their cat that their sugar was too low. They would constantly tap their face. Like, why are you tapping your, oh my God, my sugar. And what I am able to help the animal as well as the human is bridge that gap, especially on the human's side, of really understanding your fur baby is intelligent. Your fur baby is not a thing, but is of life. And just like you really are intuitive, they are too. And that's why you gravitate to them and you're not conscious of that. And these readings just expand their consciousness. They awaken them and they realize, wow, I didn't understand that I had a soul contract with my animal, but that makes sense. That's why they're in my life, to help me with the anxiety, or I'm in their life because they wanted to experience receiving care. And who better to give it? A human who in their soul contract wanted to be a human caregiver. They are a human carer, nurses, doctors, vet techs. I mean, and they don't always have to have that label that, hey, I've been caring for my whole family ever since I was a little kid. Yes, I'm the caretaker. They come to me even as an adult. So it doesn't mean you have to have a label of being a doctor or a nurse or a tech.
Well, and animals, I think, can actually prolong the life of a human
Yes.
because they give off that frequency. I've heard cats vibrate at around 10 cycles per second, which is, when you study consciousness, is that frequency you need to get to be a healer. At least you have to go to 10 cycles and lower to manifest, heal, remote view, do anything in the realm of metaphysics.
Yes. And with that, humans understand without even thinking about it, oh, they're bringing me back to the moment. And it could be that purr, that purring, that sound, that vibration, or just the animal. The dog could be coming up to the human and saying, hey, we need to chill out, sit down. I want to lay down next to you. And the human is not thinking like that, but they naturally pick up intuitively, yeah, I'll chill out with you. I need it. I'm really stressed out. I'm coming to you. And they have those moments of clarity. But that's why humans are so attracted to having any type of animal in their life.
Right. Now you have a technique where you teach the human how to communicate.
I do.
Is it meditation? Is what are some of the points of that?
Simple, simple, simple. It's all about just calming, not just the mind, but the body. And that's the most difficult thing for many to do. Is I have so many things racing through my mind, the monkey noise. How do I stop? And the easiest way is just to start with breathing. So I teach them different types of breathing methods that they're comfortable with. And then I take them through a guided meditation that actually allows them to start processing the monkey noise. Take one, there's always one monkey noise, what they've been doing wrong, or what they have to do in the future, or what's been bothering them from an hour ago. And we take that one concept, be with it, allow yourself to look at it outside, observe it, and then realize, oh, I can release that. And then allowing to feel the body. And then once they've done that, then I guide them to feel that heart-to-heart connection with their animal. And it doesn't matter if their animal is physically next to them or is in spirit. It just doesn't matter. When they start feeling their heart warming and feeling you visualize a beautiful golden cord coming from your heart to theirs, back to theirs, to yours. And then you just, either you can relax and just allow using any and all of your senses to receive the information, or you can ask a question. And that's where it takes practice. It doesn't, the first time you do it, it's fantastic. You're like blown away, but you don't stop there. You continually to do that. And you don't always have to sit like in a chair and sit with them. You'll get to the point when you work with me, you will get to the point where you could just be, cleaning up the kitchen, and all of a sudden you're feeling your animal. You turn around and they're sitting there waiting to talk with you. And you're just intuitively connected with them. And again, when you're using your senses, and Rebecca, I know you teach about this. It's not just using what you're feeling in your heart. It's that all knowing. It's the six senses. It could be a visualization. You could smell. You could actually taste. You could use your the hearing. You can actually feel things throughout your body. Oh, I'm getting a headache. You know what? That's why my dog Jojo has been really subdued and not wanting to eat. I'm going to call the vets right now and have him checked, because that's happened. That's happened in our readings.
They do communicate with us. And yeah, and I'm sure working with you, it makes a person's life much richer when they go into these different levels of connecting with their pets, because
Yes.
it's it's a much more, they are so fascinating. I mean, you
They
went,
are. And it's just, we all have a soul contract with our animals. And it doesn't matter how many animals you've had in your lifetime and how many you will have down the road. Whether an animal's been with you a short period of time or a long period of time, there is an aspect that they either are showing you right now, a life lesson, or if the animal's in spirit, there, think about it. Think about why that animal in spirit came to you in the physical body at that point in your life. What were you going through? And you will realize what your soul contract was then, and where are you now in that life lesson? Do you still need help with that? I guarantee you, if you don't have an animal right now in your life, another animal will come to you.
they just do sort of magically show up.
Oh, it is real, and reincarnation is real. I've had a handful of confirmations of reincarnation. And one of the easiest ways that maybe your viewers are like even questioning, I wonder if my dog has been reincarnated. Here's what you ask yourself. Well, do they have the same similarity or personalities as your dog or cat that's since passed? Do they respond to you the same way you used to talk and communicate and interact with that animal that's passed? Do they even respond to the animal's name that has passed? I've actually, one of my cats from childhood came back, and this is just recent. His name, when he was with me, was Midnight, all jet black cat, very feral. He was the only one. He only allowed me to connect with him. He couldn't stand the other humans that I was living with as a child, parents and other siblings. And just 2 years ago, one of my TikTok friends, who's now a dear friend of mine, she said, "Oh, my cat's watching you." I actually have a video of this. "My cat's watching you." I said, "Is he a jet black cat?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Would you do me a favor? You've got to do this. Would you please just call out to him and call Midnight, say, 'Hey, Midnight, is that you?'" And she did. And he turned around, he looked at her, he jumped on her lap, started purring, went back to the phone and tapped the phone. I have that video. I have to post it with you. It's powerful. So I just got a confirmation that was my cat from childhood who came back. And it was, and she calls him Sammy. I said, "It doesn't matter what you call him. It just doesn't matter." But she was blown away. But she, of course, now she believes.
Yeah. Well, and it must be comforting for people to, when they talk to you, to find out if the animal has passed on, they can still communicate sometimes.
Absolutely. All the time. All
Mm.
the time. That is one of the biggest life transitions that a lot of my clients are now making, is that and my goal is not for them to rely on me 24/7. My goal is to teach, guide, teach, support, and so that the human can now expand their relationship, not just with their animals physically here, but of course with their animals in spirit. And I have a beautiful, beautiful meditation that is free to everyone that will help guide you to connect with any animal in spirit, as well as your animals that are presently with you right now.
Very nice. Now, where do people go to find out about the meditation and information about you? You have a website?
Yes, they can go to dulsanea.com, which is DULSANEA.com, or they can go to my YouTube channel, which of course is Dulsanea, and you'll see free resources on my banner. You can tap that. You'll also see in the free resources, I also have 6 tips. It's a PDF. It's 6 tips on how to telepathically communicate with your animals. And that is powerful. If anyone is having issues with helping, why is their animal experiencing behavioral problems like constant barking, like scratching up the good furniture they just bought, or peeing all over the place. These are just examples. That 6 tips will guide you on how to shift your energy and change what you're verbally, as well as what you're feeling and thinking in your mind, when you communicate with your animals. It's very powerful. And this is a transition. And this is, all of this is helping you grow, not just emotionally, but spiritually and energetically. It's powerful.
Very nice. Thank you, Dulsa. That was fascinating. And I hope everyone that watches this will check out your website. I'll post it below. Thank you again.
Oh my God, Rebecca, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.